Chomp.
Hi everybody and welcome back to Spring Toys. Today we've got another Ultimates review. We're going to be looking at Super7's Voltron Black and Gold variant. Now this will make the second Black and Gold variant robot that Super7 has given us. It's a pretty cool idea. It's a throwback to the old 1970s Poppy Radine, and I was actually hoping that this would be the last Voltron variant and we'd start getting some Robeasts in here. But just before I started filming this, I checked my email and Super7 just announced a new glow-in-the-dark Voltron. I really like some of the old Robeasts, and some of them are very iconic. I really wish that Super7 would throw a few our way. We've got this nice little black slipcase here with some gold foil, and on the back we have the giant Voltron logo. Defender of the universe. Now this package is okay. The gold foil is nice, but the black is really, kind of flat. There's not a lot to it. But we'll do a slip reveal here. Oh. Okay. Ugh. Gross. This is an ugly... This is an ugly variant. Ugh, look at that. Look at how clumpy looking that black paint looks. Oh my god, this thing looks terrible. This is awful. Wow, this is disappointing. I'm gonna pull up some promo images and see what's going on, because I was really excited about this figure, but in hand, I don't know, it's just, this thing looks awful. Wow. And it's not just because the colors are boring, it's the paint is awful. The paint job looks terrible. This looks like a bootleg. Wow. This is bad. Okay. Alright. Ooh, that's rough. Alright. Nothing special in the package. Got this pentagram on the back. Why the pentagram? I don't know. I feel like that was more a symbol for the bad guys. And the witch in particular. Maybe they're implying that this is a possessed version of Voltron? I don't know. So let's go ahead and get him out of this package. Alright, so I'm going to get in here. I'm going to look at him really good. This black paint is so thick and gunky looking though. Look how much it kind of just, it looks like I don't know, just, it's not a very good paint job. It's really thick. It just does not lay down well. It doesn't look flat. I like the gloss of it, but I don't know, it's just not good. The metallic gold is very light. This looks like somebody took one of the earlier Voltron releases and just hand painted it. It really does. I've hand painted stuff when I was younger, and this is about the quality I got out of those hand painted customs I did. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it certainly is not screaming that price point of $55 plus shipping and tax. Now I pre-ordered this from Big Bad Toy Store because Super7 shipping kills me sometimes, and especially when they do these single releases. You wind up spending close to $70-something on a $55 figure, if not more, and I'm just like, I can't do that. So I pre-ordered this from Big Bad Toy Store, got it a lot later than most people I think typically did. Let's see, the face doesn't look bad. I think the face looks pretty good. I think the head probably looks the best as far as paint is concerned. That body is just really gunky looking. And it's not to say that the gold is painted badly. It's all in line. I don't see anything that's terribly out of place. The teeth on the lions are painted decently. The eyes are painted decently. I don't see anything overflowing. There's a few nitpicks here and there, but nothing terrible. I think the worst thing is probably this little line right here of black paint on this gray. It's kind of sloppy around these ankles and these knees. Yeah, this is just really lazy. The variant concept was great. I like the whole throwback to the Poppy era with the black and gold. But I don't know, they just didn't pull it off here. It's acceptable for what it is. You're going to put it on the shelf, it'll look fine. The gray seems a bit off, the black is off, the gold is off. But anyway, he does come with a few accessories. He has his Voltron shield. It's okay. It's about the same as him. That black paint kind of looks smudgy in the middle. This is a very, very plasticky feeling plastic. This is about the cheapest feeling plastic I've ever had from Super7. In fact, the tip on this end is bent, and it looks like it's kind of chipped on the very tip. So that's not good. So keep in mind that if you drop this, I don't know what happened here, but you're probably going to damage it. The sword isn't as cheap feeling. It's a bit more pliable. It's a nice sturdy plastic. It's painted okay. I think I like the blade color. It's not bad. The black paint on this handle is probably not too bad. It's a little bit more laid down than the rest of the figure. It's got a few little gold highlights on the pommel. And then he has two alternate hands of the roaring lion heads. I would have really liked for these to have been articulated so that the jaws could open and shut. My biggest issue with this figure is prevalent through all three versions, and that is the inability for him to properly hold his accessories. If you wanted to use the roaring heads, well, they're not going to fit. They're not going to close down on it. Not going to hold the weapon very well. And this sword is so massive and the hands are so tight that you really would have to heat these hands up to get this sword into the hands or the shield into the hand without scratching that paint on the teeth. So let's take a look at his articulation. He has a hinged and swiveled neck. I want to say a ball joint, but he's not going to really get any wobbling there. So he's just going to look a little bit up, about that far, no down, and then you can turn his head. His shoulders are on a swivel hinge, so they go this way and they go this way, but it is not a ball joint. He has a swivel at the top of the arm, as well as a bicep hinge and twist. So he can get a little bit of dynamic pose in the arm, but he's not going to go to a 90 degree on that elbow. So he's really limited. And then of course he has a hinge and swivel on the wrist. He has a upper torso cut with somewhat of a wobble, but it's not going to stay, and a lower twist, which is kind of redundant. He doesn't pose very well at all. Now the hips are the worst part of the figure. There is no hinge on those hips. I just don't know. They could not figure out how to articulate this guy. So all he's got is a hinge on the upper hip, and then they included a thigh cut on the second release. The first release Voltron was missing the thigh cut, which was awful. Then of course he has a knee hinge which goes a 90 degree. That's pretty good. So he can go move up and he can twist his leg out. You can get some decent articulation even with the lack of hip articulation, but it's still kind of very limited. And then of course he has the rocker and hinged feet, which are actually pretty good. They're not the worst. I've seen worse. Be cautious when posing these back feet, as once you get to this point, it's going to strike. You can force it over and go further, but you are eventually going to scratch this paint right here on this ankle. So be cautious of that. The hands do come off pretty well. So you can have him do the roaring heads if you want. I would have liked to have had interchangeable feet with the roaring heads on the feet too, but you know, it is what it is. Hands change out very easily. I don't know, this isn't the worst figure in the world. I like the concept. It's not good enough. That's all I can say. Acceptable? Maybe, depending on how you feel about it. It's just not good enough for the price point. First, let's bring in the gold and black Dragon Zord. As you can see, this just does not match. I was hoping these guys would be close in color palette, but they're not. They're nowhere near. And you can also see the scale of Voltron. He does not even scale with the Power Rangers Zords. And for another size comparison, let's bring in the Ultimates Optimus Prime, who towers over Voltron. So, yeah, the scale is off. Like, I can say that because Optimus Prime is around 20-something feet tall, canonically. The Dragon Zords, I don't know how tall the Dragon Zord would be, but, I mean, he's as tall as a building, if not taller. Voltron is supposed to be like 230 feet tall, somewhere around that range. So Voltron, it's nice that they're sort of in scale, but Voltron should definitely be bigger than, at least Optimus Prime. So you can see scaling with a normal Ultimates. This is the Green Ranger. We're going to bring in the other two Voltrons. We've got the classic animated colors and the toy colors here. I like having variants. I like that he is different. He's sort of like a shadow Voltron. He's going to look good with the other Voltrons. Forgetting the negatives about these figures, at the end of the day, if you want a 7-inch scale Voltron, one of these guys is your best bet. So the height. Voltron is right below 7.5 inches. As you can see here on the animated version, he's missing that thigh cut. They added it later with this version. There's been plenty of opportunities to improve on this sculpt. They improved on this one a little bit, adding the thigh cuts. They could have improved on this one with some extra hands. If you're on the fence about this guy, all I can say is pick him up if you want him. If you like Voltron, you gotta have Voltron. Definitely get him. If you want the best possible Voltron figure, don't get this guy. He's not. None of these are going to be the best possible Voltron you can get, especially in this scale. I swear there's like 100 different companies that do different Voltrons every year. You're not in short supply for Voltrons. You can find them in just about every style you can imagine, in every scale, in every kind of articulation. And even if you want to just go back and get the vintage ones, they're pretty readily available. I'm a little disappointed, just not as gold as I think he should be. It's a nice little throwback. If I think about the inspiration for this figure, his colors are probably pretty spot on. It's just, this was an opportunity for Super7 to make this variant their own and make it pop. I just don't think it really pops. I really don't. That being said, I do like the concept. If they can do it better, I'd like to see them do other giant robot characters that they have in this color. For instance, I'm not really collecting the Toho Godzilla Ultimates, but if they did a Mecha Godzilla in the gold and black, I'd have to order that. If they came out and did a Megatron and Optimus 2-pack in the gold and black, I'd have to get that because I like those kind of cheesy variants. Anyway, this has been an unboxing and review of Super7's Gold and Black Voltron Ultimates, and I am your Supreme Toys. Thank you so much for watching.